What if I told you that your next home could be on another planet? A place where the sky is always salmon pink, where sunsets are blue, and where you'd weigh less than half of what you do now. Welcome to Mars, the red planet, and humanity's next frontier. But before you pack your bags, let's talk about what it really takes to survive on this alien world. Mars has captivated our imagination for centuries, but it's only recently that we've started to seriously consider it as a potential second home for humanity. Why? Well, as Elon Musk famously said, we need to become a multi-planetary species to ensure the survival of humanity. But Mars isn't exactly rolling out the welcome mat for us Earthlings. First things first, the atmosphere, or should I say the lack of it. Mars has an atmosphere so thin, it's practically non-existent compared to Earth's. It's about 100 times thinner and composed mostly of carbon dioxide. To put that in perspective, imagine trying to breathe at the top of Mount Everest. Now multiply that difficulty by 10. That's Mars for you. So what's the solution? We can't exactly ship air from Earth to Mars. Instead, we'll need to create our own breathable atmosphere inside pressurized habitats. These Martian homes would need to be completely sealed and maintain Earth-like pressure. But it's not just about having air to breathe. The atmospheric pressure on Mars is so low that water boils at room temperature. Your blood would literally boil if exposed to the Martian atmosphere. Not exactly a vacation paradise, right? But let's say we've solved the air problem. What's next on our Martian survival checklist? Water. Yes, Mars has water, but not in the form we're used to. Most of it is locked up in ice caps at the poles or frozen in the soil. To use this water, we'd need to melt and purify it. Luckily, NASA's already working on technologies to extract water from Martian soil. Imagine being a Martian prospector, but instead of gold, you're mining for water. Now let's talk about that famous red Martian soil. It's not just a different color, it's downright dangerous. Martian dust is full of perchlorates, chemicals that are toxic to humans. Any future Martian settlers would need to be extremely careful not to track this dust into their living spaces. Think of it as the ultimate take your shoes off at the door policy, where forgetting could be fatal. But wait, there's more. Remember those sci-fi movies where astronauts bounce around on the moon? Well, Mars isn't quite like that, but it's close. The gravity on Mars is about 38% of Earth's. While this might sound fun at first, it could lead to serious health problems over time. Our bodies are designed for Earth's gravity, and living in reduced gravity can lead to bone loss, muscle atrophy, and cardiovascular issues. Future Martians would need to spend hours each day exercising just to maintain their Earth-strength bodies. Let's not forget about radiation. Earth's magnetic field and thick atmosphere protect us from harmful cosmic rays and solar radiation. Mars doesn't have this luxury. The radiation exposure on Mars is about 100 times higher than on Earth. Long-term exposure could lead to increased cancer risk, cognitive problems, and even DNA damage. Our Martian habitats would need to be built with thick radiation-shielding materials. Some scientists have even proposed building habitats underground to use Mars itself as a shield. Now you might be thinking, okay, but at least the temperature isn't too bad, right? Well, I hate to break it to you, but Mars is cold. Really cold. The average temperature is about -63 degrees, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. On a warm day at the equator, it might reach a balmy 20 degrees Celsius, but at night it can plummet to -100 degrees. Heating our Martian homes would be a constant battle against the cold. But it's not all doom and gloom. Mars does have some advantages. Its day is only about 40 minutes longer than Earth's, which means our circadian rhythms wouldn't be too disrupted. And while Mars gets less sunlight than Earth, solar power is still a viable energy source. In fact, NASA's Mars rovers have been using solar power for years. Speaking of energy, any Martian colony would need a reliable power source. Solar panels could work, but they'd need to be constantly cleaned of Martian dust. Nuclear power is another option, providing a consistent energy supply regardless of weather conditions. Food is another crucial consideration. We can't exactly order takeout on Mars, so we'd need to grow our own food. This is where things get interesting. Experiments on Earth have shown that it's possible to grow crops in simulated Martian soil. However, we'd need to add nutrients and remove the perchlorates first. Imagine vast underground hydroponic farms, growing everything from potatoes like Mark Watney in The Martian to leafy greens and even fruit trees. But surviving on Mars isn't just about the physical necessities. The psychological challenges of living on another planet, millions of miles from Earth, are enormous. Astronauts would need to cope with isolation, confinement, and the constant stress of knowing that a small mistake could be fatal. NASA and other space agencies are already studying these effects in places like Antarctica and in simulated Mars habitats on Earth. Communication with Earth would be another challenge. Due to the distance between Mars and Earth, there's a time delay in communications that can range from 4 to 24 minutes each way. Imagine trying to have a conversation with that kind of delay. This means that Martian colonists would need to be largely self-sufficient, capable of solving problems and making decisions without immediate input from Earth. Despite all these challenges, the idea of living on Mars continues to inspire us. It represents the next giant leap for humankind, a testament to our ingenuity and our unquenchable desire to explore. The technologies we develop to survive on Mars could also have applications here on Earth, from more efficient water purification systems to advances in renewable energy. As we speak, scientists and engineers around the world are working tirelessly to solve these problems. NASA's Artemis program, which aims to return humans to the Moon, is seen as a stepping stone to Mars. Private companies like SpaceX are developing powerful rockets capable of reaching the Red Planet. The European Space Agency, China, and others are also setting their sights on Mars. So, while surviving on Mars would be incredibly challenging, it's not impossible. With the right technology, preparation, and human ingenuity, we could one day see the first human footprints on Martian soil. It's not a question of if, but when. As Carl Sagan once said, the surface of the Earth is the shore of the cosmic ocean. From it, we have learned most of what we know. Recently, we have waded a little out to sea, enough to dampen our toes, or at most wet our ankles. The water seems inviting. The ocean calls. Mars is calling. Are we ready to answer? What do you think? Would you volunteer to be among the first humans to live on Mars? What challenges do you think would be the hardest to overcome? As we continue to push the boundaries of space exploration, these are questions we'll all need to consider. The Red Planet is waiting. The future is out there, and it's up to us to reach for it.